Hey guys, this is just a video I figured I'd do because a lot of people were having trouble with the area and volume unit conversions. This is probably something you're supposed to have gone over in year 10, but we'll go over it again anyway. So I gave you this chart at the start of the lesson. Yes, it's going to help you convert between these multiples, kilo, mega, giga. It's all easy because it's all 1,000 times or 1,000 divide each other, okay? But later in the problem, you're supposed to try and use that that system for things that aren't exactly on the chart, but that use sort of maths that you've used before. So some of your questions ask you to convert between areas and volumes. So I need to think back to area and volume maths because you don't just times and divide by 1,000. They can be different units. So if I get a little portion of that chart above, so I've got 1 litre to 1 kiloliter, then you notice that when you're going from smaller to a bigger kind of unit, you're dividing by 1,000. That's because the bigger one doesn't fit into the smaller unit. Only a tiny portion. That's why you're dividing by 1,000. You get a fraction. Okay. When you're going from big to small, you times. Why is that? Because this contains many of these things. So if you're trying to say how many litres a kiloliter has, there's going to be more of them. So in questions where you're not just going to be using the chart, you need to use maths and work out how many times one of the units, so the smaller one, fits into the larger. So instead of just using 1,000, you have to times and divide by the number of times that the units fit in each other. So I'll give you an example if that doesn't make sense right now. A 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter squared, how many square millimeters are there going to be? So hopefully you remember back to area maths. It is year 11. 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, how do I find the area? 5 times by 5 is going to be 25. So that's going to be 25 square centimeters. Alright? Now, if I wanted to express that in millimeters, I need to know how many square millimeters fit into one of those square centimeters that there's 25 there. Alright? So 1 centimeter is made up of 10 millimeters. So 1 square centimeter is going to be 10 mils by 10 mils. There's going to be a little square like this. That's a centimeter on each side, but 10 mils along each side. So that's going to be 100 millimeters squared. Alright? So you now know how many millimeters squared are in 1 centimeter squared, but there's 25 centimeters squared in this box that I'm trying to that you're trying to convert the units for. So if there's 25 of them and you know that there's how many square millimeters are in 1, you just need to times that by 25. So it's going to be 25 lots of 100 square millimeters. It's going to be 2,500 square millimeters. Alright, so it's like a squared factor there. You don't just divide by 1,000 or 100 or whatever. Lastly, we'll do the volume example. So here you would now have a cube. It's 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters. So the volume of that is going to be 5 by 5, so 125 cubed centimeters with a 3 on the side. So I know how many cubic centimeters there is. So now I need to work out how many cubic millimeters fits into one of these centimeters, so I can times it by 125. So I'm trying to work out how many cube millimeters are in this little box here, because I know there's 125 in the whole thing. So 1 cubic centimeter is 10 mils by 10 mils by 10 mil. So it's going to be 1,000 cubic millimeters in that little box there. And there's 125 of those in the whole box. So if I wanted to convert this 125 cubic centimeters to millimeters, it's going to be 125 of those things times by 1,000. So that is going to be 125,000 cubic millimeters in that big box there. Alright, so hopefully that helps you for next time. Hopefully you view this, and I'll see you on Friday.